Hi everybody, it's time for another Welcome to the Netherlands video. This one is going to be about speaking Dutch. Now, if you ever visit the Netherlands, it's not necessary that you speak Dutch because almost everyone here is fluent in English, which is really cool and really helpful. But since I'm here for a long time, a whole year, I thought it would be best for me to take some Dutch classes. And actually the Dutch classes that I ended up doing were way more intense than I wanted to do. You know, oh well, I'm learning a lot. So instead of trying to teach you what I learn in class, I thought I would just pick a couple of keywords and key phrases that you hear all the time and do those, and then I also had a couple of words that I think are really funny. But more on that subject, one of my favorite YouTubers, a booktuber named Sana, or Books and Quills, just recently came out with a video. I will link that somewhere here. But anyway, Sana lives in London, she works for a publishing company, she does a lot of really great videos about books, but she's originally from the Netherlands, and so she just did this video about Dutch words that she loves. So for our first word, obviously, it's going to be hello and goodbye. So hello is hallo, and goodbye is doei. You guys should know that one. Another pretty basic one is yes and no, ja and nee. Now this one's pretty funny. I didn't include it in my list of funny ones, but I think it's kind of funny that you use it for so many things. It's alsjeblieft, which means please, and it also means you're welcome, and it also means here you go, like I need a pen, here you go. So when someone hands you something, they might say alsjeblieft, and then you say dankjewel, and then they say alsjeblieft again because it means both things. And that, of course, brings us to thank you, which is dankjewel. Ooh, dankjewel. And there are variations on this, like you can say bedankt, and that means thanks instead of thank you, or dank u wel for someone that you don't know. The whole formal U is getting less popular here, so it's not as big of a deal. Another one that you'll hear pretty often is look. Look. So if something is really nice, you say it's look, or super look. Or mooi is another one that means beautiful, but super look or look, that means nice. And gezellig, that's a very popular one. You see it in a lot of Tumblr posts where it's like words that don't translate from other languages. That's exactly what this is. There's not a direct English translation for the meaning of this. The closest thing is probably cozy, but for example, you could have a cozy evening at home alone, you know, with a cup of hot chocolate and a book, and that would be cozy. But gezellig is when you're cozy together, so you're maybe having coffee together, or a really nice garden party, or something where you're spending time with each other. That's gezellig. The next one is lekker. Lekker is really kind of funny because it's like alsjeblieft, it's used for multiple things and in multiple situations. So the obvious one is food. If something is tasty, it's lekker. But lekker can also be applied to handsome guys. Kind of weird, not a phrase that I would use all that often, but that's kind of like in the same vein. But then there's also things like lekker zitten, which means, you know, sit down and be comfy, or slaap lekker, which means sleep well, so have a tasty seat, have a tasty sleep. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but it's a very popular word and they use it for everything. This one I wanted to include not because you hear it a whole lot or because it's super useful, but I just like saying it. It's fun to say. Goed zo. Goed zo. It means good job. So you hear it a lot. You hear parents saying it to their kids a lot. Goed zo. As I'm writing all of these out, it's striking me that I hope I spell all these right because of all things, Dutch is not the hardest thing to pronounce, but it's probably the hardest thing to spell. Okay, the next two I'm including because they have a French equivalent that is often used in English. So bon voyage in French means have a good trip, and the Dutch equivalent of that is goeie reis. Also in French that we use in English is bon appetit, which means, you know, enjoy your meal, eat well, all that. And in Dutch that is eet smakelijk. Eet smakelijk. Okay, so now for the really funny ones that make me laugh. Handschoenen. See, I'm still not good with that sound. But yeah. Handschoenen. This means gloves, and it literally translates to hand shoes. Another one is jongens, which means boys, like boys, or it could also mean guys, like, hey guys, let's go to the park. hey youngins. But I think it's funny because it sounds like youngins, which is what you think of like old cowboys saying to the young people, like, come on there, youngins. Youngins, youngins. This one is one of my favorites. It is hey las pendejas, which means kind of too bad so sad, but it translates as too bad peanut cheese, which is what they call peanut butter, because there's a story that when peanut butter was introduced to the Netherlands, it didn't have any butter in it, so they couldn't call it butter. Like, there was some regulatory agency that said there's no butter in this, you cannot call this butter. So they decided to call it peanut cheese, which it doesn't have any cheese in it either, so I don't know why that makes sense, but peanut butter is pindakaas, kaas is cheese, but peanut butter is pindakaas, and hey las pindakaas, it's like too bad so sad. It rhymes, but literally you're saying too bad peanut butter. And finally, a phrase that you hear all the time if you're in the Netherlands is dames en heren, de sprinter naar. Yeah, that's how all of the announcements in the train stations start out. So they're saying, ladies and gentlemen, the sprinter train to blah 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 leaves from whatever platform, but they all start with the same like automated voiceover, dames en heren, de sprinter naar blah 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 blah. So if you're walking through the train station, you're going to hear that one a lot. How about you guys? Do you have any favorite Dutch phrases or phrases in another language that you find really, really funny? Let me know in the comments section. Also, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you want to, check out more of my stuff if you want to, share this video if you want to. So my goal for March, I decided, is going to be to double my subscribers. I'm going to round down to 20 since I have 21 right now. I'm going to double it to 40. So hopefully by the end of March I will have 40 subscribers. So if you like these videos, click subscribe so you can stick around and see more. I think that's all for now. Say it with me. Doei!